Alright guys, quick update for you today. I got all the stuff to do my fuel system and a bunch of other shit, so we went nuts today and we got as much done as possible. Actually, we didn't break our balls, we just ended up getting a lot done. Sometimes it happens when everything doesn't go wrong, which is nice. The only thing that didn't go well was I don't have enough electrical connectors to finish doing a bunch of whatnot. And the coolant hoses I tried some different coolant hoses and they didn't fit right. So I don't have that. I only have the one hot side bolted in. I got to do some wastegate stuff, but I have the entire wiring harness in, pretty much everything plugged in. I still got to put an IAT sensor in. I got this Jones right here. I'll put that guy in. I got a battery tie down, just because tech really hates when your battery isn't tied down. So if they do look under my hood, that's like the first thing they're going to get upset about. So it was only $3 for those bolts to complete that. I put in my power nut. What I like to do is come from the battery and go to a junction power nut, so I don't have 45 things on the battery. I know that's very unsloppy, but it's a personal thing. I just hate that. Whenever I need to disconnect something, I have 40 things on the battery, and then these like fatigue and get ripped. So you just take this guy off, and that's power to everything. And then down here there's a cable that goes to the starter. I have the entire fuel system done so far. So what happens is this guy comes in from the tank. There's the power lines up to it. That's the feed. It feeds in here and it comes out the other side and it goes into the returnless fuel rail. We had to do this. We found out this works on another car. The truck rails have a nice regulator feed and return built in. A returnless only has one feed, but what does work great is doing that, just going straight through a regulator here and then returning. It'll fill everything and pressurize everything in the rails and then return down the bottom. And I'll show you. I can't remember if I said in the last video or not, but I got four lug 31 spline Mosers, swapped them out with my 5 lug so I can put my stock 10 holes here back on. I got the sumped stock tank. My friend sumped the stock tank for me for free. Isn't that shit awesome? So that's the feed and return, and the pump is underneath the gas filler neck, so I can use the stock gas filler neck. That shit's awesome too. Also for tech, so they don't bitch at you. It's more incognito. The good 480E is in here. I even have a that's a TCI shifter. That's the billet Circle D torque converter in there already bolted in. And then what I got in here is the, pardon the lights, this is the stock computer OBD2 port. That's the stock computer and a fuse panel. And then this is the TCI shifter, which surprisingly, this is the cheapest one I could find. I was using a Winters before, it was $250. This is only like $150. It was $148 shipped off Amazon. And the same thing is, this shit you can't even get your finger in between here by the time you get the shifter back where you want it. But it does work great. That's reverse, neutral, drive, and you pull up and you hit 3 and you can hit 2. It only gets to like 1.5. It bottoms out the actual linkage of the cable, so I don't know if that's a 480E thing or what, but drive, neutral, you got a lever for reverse, and you can lever all the way for park. That's awesome. Everything else is working pretty good. I even have the interior shit hooked up. Oh yeah, classic oldies. Even the fuel gauge is working. Actually, I haven't looked at that yet. What I did is I hooked up the return on my truck and I put a couple gallons in here to test the for fuel leaks, so it has like a half a tank. This thing must be a big tank. Wasn't sure how much it was, but the fucking thing could be like 16 or 20. I'll have to see when I actually fill it one day. But yeah, I would take this race gas can here, and this guy is attached to the return, and we would jump the relay for the fuel pump, fill the can, and then dump it in, because the truck is going to be naturally aspirated. It doesn't need 93 anymore, so I can take it out of there. Anyway, rambling on about that. What I also did was I cut off the PSI harness here, I cut the stock map sensor plug off and put the 3-bar from EFI source on again. I'm using the stock vacuum tree. We'll see how that guy does. The The one hose I got there is a little big. I got it hose clamped pretty tight. Hopefully it's okay. The rest of everything else is going pretty good. I'm going to try to use the stock starter pigtail here. We seem to have issues with them because they're like a 5 volt and they won't trigger anything. I'll see if I can get it to trigger a relay. Sometimes I can't even do that. What I end up doing, it sucks, is like running a whole new power switch and button and shit that hits a relay. And then this is the fuel pump wire and this is the starter wire. The starter solenoid, sorry, not the starter wire. The other starter wire is that big motherfucker. But this is the interior lights and headlights and everything else goes into there. I'm not sure what these things are. These must have gone to the ignition box or some other weird electronics like that bundle of shit over there that I have disconnected. Other than that, this thing is pretty much ready to go. I have to get a trans cooler. We're going to look at the junkyard for a tranny cooler. There's some giant ones in Dodge vans because Dodge transmissions suck. Everybody knows that. So the Dodge vans have a transmission cooler almost the size of an AC condenser. So I'm going to see if I can grab one of those. I think that's it for everything. I got my heater hoses plugged in. I was trying to figure out what the hell to do with them. The room is filling up quick. I got to put the wastegate on my hot side there with the turbo. I'm going to bolt the turbo on and then put it all in at once. It's easier to get the turbo bolts done. We're going to just drill a hole in the front of the timing cover. Like, wait, it's too dark, but down in the corner of the timing cover is a good spot. I'll put that guy there. And I think I will quit for now. I don't know how long I've run on already. I got my TR6 spark plugs already in there and gapped. And that's pretty much it for now. Pretty happy with everything so far. Stay tuned.